Hey everyone, welcome to another Good e-Reader comparison video. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Today we have the Kindle Paperwhite 2 versus the Nook Glowlight. So this is the second generation model, and we're going to put both of these devices through the paces, compare the Glowlight technology at the end of the video with all the lights off, and we'll also look at ebooks and magazines as well. We'll also look at the store ecosystem so you can get a sense on what type of content's available. Both of these e-readers fairly similar in the respects that they're 6 inches and they have the same resolution as 1024 by 758. The Kindle Paperwhite edges the Nook with a faster processor. It's 1 gigahertz, while the Nook has 800 megahertz. They have the same amount of RAM at 256 MB. The Nook actually has more storage. It has 4 gigs, but that's on paper. And once you take it out of the box, you roughly have about 2.1 available and only 512 MB available for user side-loaded content. Amazon doesn't have any of these restrictions. You basically have about 2 gigs on paper, but about 1.2 again when you take it out of the box for the first time. Neither of these have SD cards, and they should last you around 2 months. It's the beauty of e-readers. Now, Amazon has a better screen.
Right, they're running multi-touch capacitive on here, whereas it's IR on here. Advantage is that you have pinch and zoom capabilities, you can use your fingertip, and the advantage of IR is you can use your fingertip or a stylus.
Right. Okay, let's dive right into these things.
These are the home pages. The home page on the Nook is very similar to that of Android because it is running Android, so you can tap the top and it brings down a bunch of settings. You can go to the settings I've closed it. You can go to the settings menu here to change various things such as time and social media and all that stuff. We're not going to go through all these, but that is where you do it. You also have the library. Kindle starts on the library, so this is where we're going to compare everything. So you can see you can choose things that are archived, things on your shelves, your books, newsstand, and so on. This is pretty much your library as is, so you can see how they lay them out the same. You can go gridded view or list view. Kindle, everything's already kind of there on your top bar, so you have things like Glowlight, toggle, on and off as well. The Glowlight on the Nook can be turned on or off. The Glowlight on the Kindle can never really be turned off. It is still running in the background no matter what you do.
One of the benefits of the Glowlight, at least on the Nook, because it has a physical home button, if you hold your finger on it for 2 seconds, you can actually turn the Glowlight on and off. But you can't control the brightness levels on it. You still have to do it by hitting the settings menu. Okay, both of these e-readers primarily build is reading digital books, magazines, and other content like that. Let's check out the standard ebook.
So you can see they're laid out very differently by default. You can change the text in a number of ways. You can click on the little A's up above, and they're kind of laid out in the same way. You have the row of A's indicating what size they're going to be, line spacing, margins, and then you have font type, so you can choose the type. Both of these change live. Both of these have pretty much the same options. They both have long press. Kindle's a little bit quicker on the draw. Both have highlights. We'll compare the keyboards right now by adding a note. The keyboard is very strange, as Michael pointed out. There's a question mark with an extra dot below. This is a period, so unlike the proper way to display a period there on the Kindle, they actually kind of hide it.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off because almost every other e-reader I've ever used actually has a dedicated period button, which is used for social media, Facebook.com, or if you're using the web browser, which actually the Nook does not have a web browser and no way to access the web, whereas the Kindle does have a built-in web browser.
Right. Your settings are very limited on the Nook. You have share, lookup, note, and highlight. That's pretty much about it. The lookup is a very basic dictionary. The Kindle, when you highlight something, it comes up with a little view of a dictionary. Then you have Wikipedia, search, or more. More will give you a lot of different options. For example, if we box however much text we want, click on more. We actually have translation, and you can translate this into any language you want in about 2 seconds. We've translated an entire page into complex Chinese characters. So very good reading experience on the Kindle, kind of bare bones on the Nook.
Yeah, I really like, and we're not going to show you this right now, but they have X-Ray for Amazon, which shows you people, places, and things. So you can, if you come back to a book maybe about a month later or something like that, you can get caught up on exactly what's happened, who are the major characters, places, and things like that. So I really dig that. So that's pretty well the e-reading experience. I'd probably give the advantage to the Kindle on this, just because of the sheer number of other options that you have, like the dictionaries, the translating features, X-ray, just the added things that really sort of even out the e-reading experience, where they both, if you want to change the text and the size of the text and the margins and the line spacing, both of them have all those features. They have the same amount of fonts. One isn't necessarily better than the other, but the Kindle, I think, has more expanded features. Let's take a look at like a magazine.
Now we have magazines available on the Nook, and any of the magazines available on Kindle are actually skinned versions, as well as the Nook is at the same time. If you check out the tablet version of either of these two lines of devices, like the Kindle Fire or the Nook HD, you will get the full experience with images and all. But you'll see here that although we get a home page with a full image, it does quickly skin that away into individual articles with a little thumbnail. And this is because these are e-readers, not first and foremost, but they're just e-readers, so they have to make them friendly to the e-reader, and you can't have full-page PDFs with ads and everything, because you just wouldn't be able to read it.
Right, so with here, in magazines, you can have a lot of features.
You actually have all the same features you would on the magazine as you would in an ebook. You can effectively translate the entire magazine into any language you'd like.
Right, so there's some cool features here. Now, PDFs, people often load in their own all the time. It's hard to actually buy a PDF from both of these stores because they don't really sell all of that in a lot of formats. So we've loaded in our own PDF, and we're going to check out the functionality provided.
You got to dive in pretty deep on the Nook because it's separated into categories like My Files and so forth. So we're on page 11 of the PDF. We're going to go to... Now the Nook does something a little bit differently. When you open a PDF on the Kindle, you'll see that it's the full page by default, 2-column split, what have you. On the Nook, it's pre-reflowed. So what you have to do is actually change the text to setting 1 or 2. This will actually give you the full page. Because this is running infrared instead of capacitive, you actually don't have any pinch and zoom capabilities on the Nook, whereas on the Kindle, you actually can pinch and zoom.
Which is really handy because in a lot of cases, say you're looking at say we're looking at this cellular biology textbook for school, it's important that we see some of the diagrams and graphs.
You can't read this.
Yeah.
You don't know what this says and you can't read it.
And if you reflow it, you actually lose the images.
So if we quickly go to another option here, although you have some images, most of the main images will be gone. A lot of the headers will be gone. Things will be pushed to the left whether they're meant to or not. And you have absolutely no idea where you are on the page. Whereas on the Kindle, you can always just zoom out and say, oh, there you are. So it's a lot more flexible on the Kindle, and you can actually make notes and highlights on the Kindle, and you still have the translation feature, which is amazing.
And PDFs on a Nook, you don't have any functionality with highlights or notes or anything like that.
No, there's no highlights, no notes, no Facebook shares, no searches, no Wikipedia, Google, nothing.
Now, the Nook easily handled the D&D Monsters manual that we loaded on it. It's about 150 MB file. The Kindle would just crash.
Right.
So if you are looking at very large PDFs, the Nook easily handles them, but the Kindle really struggles with them. So that's sort of the juxtaposition. All in all, we've really looked at a lot of content here. The stores, there's really no comparison. The Amazon store is simply available in more markets than Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble is only available in the US and the UK right now. And the Kindle store, it's in India, it's in China, it's in South America, it's in Canada, it's available in most European markets. Now, Barnes & Noble has some software bugs. For instance, we can't actually click on a book to actually purchase it, look at the description, and so on. No matter what we do, we can't do it. Whereas with the Kindle, well...
It's the same book, Sycamore Road,
yeah,
too. Oh, let me in!
They really want to sell you it on Amazon, so it works. Barnes & Noble's like, yeah, here's a tease, but good luck trying to buy it, sucker. So, yeah, I mean, I wish we could show you the store experience, but I guess it's just buggy right now, and no firmware update's been pushed out. So, all in all, I'd probably say if you want to buy books right now, probably the Kindle's the better one. But Barnes & Noble should solve this problem in short order. The last test that we want to run is turning off the studio light. Okay, we're completely in the dark here, and we're going to initiate the nighttime reading test. We're going to turn it on with the Nook Glowlight.
We're going to leave it on at about 50% or so, and now we're going to move the Kindle about 50%. As you can see, they're both fairly dark, so we're going to advance them almost all the way to the end here. And the Kindle actually has a setting 24 and a max, and when you click max, it actually goes a step beyond that to the maximum setting. So you can see the range. It varies from almost complete darkness to a decent amount of light. With the Kindle, same kind of thing. Something to note, the Amazon has no way of turning off the glow light. Day by day it doesn't affect battery life, but in the long term it actually does put a toll on it to a small degree, whereas the Nook, you can actually turn it off and on anytime you wish.
Alright, so you saw when we were actually in the settings menu that there was like a ring around here, but that kind of disappeared once we were out of the settings menu. Okay, so here's my thoughts. I think that Barnes & Noble, this really looks white to me. And you know, you have both of these e-readers side by side, and I would probably say that to me they look exactly the same, but you could see here that there's like some grain out at the top here, because the Kindle does light, I believe, from the bottom, and the Nook does it through the top. And because it's top down, you're actually seeing a little bit of grayness there.
Right. Now, I do agree that it looks mostly the same. For example, around here and around here, whereas if you look at the top, it's almost black right along the bezel there, and yes, it is shooting from the top. There's 5 LEDs. On the bottom, you start to get a lot of yellows, whereas the Kindle, top to bottom, edge to edge, corner to corner, it's actually consistent end to end. And
now you pointed something out with like the deep levels of black.
You can notice that, for example, on the bottom right corner, Sycamore Row here, where my pointer is pointing, it's almost completely black, whereas Daniel Craig's sweater, the black background of Pride and Prejudice, it's almost like it's grained with light blue little pigments.
Yeah, it looks a little bit washed out. It looks like when the e-readers are on full bright, when the brightness levels are maximized, the Kindle tends to have more richer blacks.
Yeah.
Whereas the Nook has more of a washed out, not
fuzzy.
True blacks. Yeah, it seems to be like fuzzy, maybe not fuzzy blue, but it's noticeably fuzzy.
Right.
So this is just us nitpicking, but in the studio, looking at this for half an hour, we feel that I think for the Glowlight technology, the Paperwhite 2 is the better buy. So you've heard our thoughts. Let's hear yours. Drop a comment on this video. If you're watching this video on another website, you can check out youtube.com/goodyreader, and for all the latest news, previews, interviews, and industry-wide coverage on e-paper, e-readers, and a whole lot more, check out our main website, goodyreader.com. And for a comparison of the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite 2 and the second generation Nook Glowlight, my name is Michael.